Data over the building of a solar farm. Pine Gate Renewables, a North Carolina-based company, is leasing thousands of acres to build more than 1 million solar panels.
But landowners around the project tell our Lee Waldman they want to pump the brakes on the whole thing. KSAT Investigates found a temporary restraining order was granted, so a judge could weigh in.
It's a slice of heaven.
It's the cowboy capital of the world.
Tucked into the rolling Texas hill country.
We came because it was rural.
Andrew Boger's land along FM 3240 in Bandera is a step away from city life, a sanctuary built by him and his wife. When he says he's worried will be interrupted.
The complicated thing about the solar panel issue is that it's still pretty new in its inception. And there's a lot of questions regarding their viability.
Boger's property and several others butt up against land where 1 million solar panels will be constructed starting this year. According to Pine Gate Renewables, the company behind the Rio Lago solar project, the $150 million investment into Bandera County will bring 123 megawatts of clean energy. That's enough to power over 22,000 homes annually.
Well, we feel like there's a couple issues there.
Those issues are laid out in a temporary restraining order filed last month in Bandera. Boger and the other plaintiffs listed are asking for the court to intervene and make Pine Gate Renewables provide documentation and answer their questions. The first being, what happens if the panels catch fire?
Bandera does not have a fire department. It's a volunteer fire department.
And if they do, who is going to be responsible for the cost to repair the damages left behind? At this point, the landowners around the Rio Lago solar project haven't seen insurance information or surety bonds. Boger says they're also concerned about water runoff from the solar panels that will flow into drainage ditches, tanks, and creeks.
Once these two tanks fill up, it flows across and enters into Mud Creek, into a FEMA flood zone, and then makes its way on down into the Medina River.
It's not a problem that's unheard of. Pine Gate Renewables built a similar solar farm in a small Mississippi community. Their community members told ABC affiliate WTOK last month that rainwater runoff and debris from the project ruined ponds in the area.
We found from all the other communities they tried to do something after the project was already up and running, and it was too late.
This isn't the first time there's been pushback on the solar build in Bandera. The Bandera Bulletin reported in February 2022, Bandera ISD unanimously voted against the solar farm's tax abatement application.
Once they were turned down for public funding, they pretty much started privately planning without any oversight, in my opinion.
Boger says ultimately they're not trying to stop this project from happening, but they'd like their concerns addressed and assurance this won't be harmful to the rural sanctuary they call home.
We're hoping that the state, the county, the court will look at this and begin to put protocols in place that will protect people and protect the counties.
KSAT Investigates emailed Pine Gate Renewables about the temporary restraining order. Kristen McKenzie, a director within that company, sent this statement, quote, Pine Gate Renewables is aware of the complaint related to Rio Lago Solar and remains committed to the project development and construction. However, the company does not discuss ongoing legal matters, unquote. A judge in Bandera will hear from Pine Gate Renewables and the plaintiffs listed on that temporary restraining order in court tomorrow morning to decide on a temporary injunction.
Lee, we have to ask you a question here. So with all of the pushback that we're seeing, the question goes back to location. Do we know why exactly Pine Gate Renewables is choosing that specific area of Bandera to build that solar farm?
Well, at this point, we don't. Doing some of that online research, we found there's argument that land that a solar farm is built on should be flat. Bandera has some rolling hills. Other research suggests that this could actually be beneficial in making sure the panels have access to the sunlight needed. Now, what's interesting here, on the Pine Gate Renewables website about the Rio Lago solar project, there's a tab that will explain why that area is chosen. You can see on your screen, when you click on that tab, there's an error and the site says it cannot be found.
There's some suspicions, I'm guessing, that maybe they chose this area because of a lack of restrictions and things like that. Lee Waldman, thanks.
Thank you.
The 2024 presidential campaign picking up momentum with the first contest. The Iowa caucus is just 1 week away.
And as ABC's Morgan Norwood reports, Republican candidates are zipping across the state, hoping to sway voters.
The countdown to the Iowa caucuses are on, and with just 1 week to go, candidates on both sides taking aim at Donald Trump as the Republican frontrunner holds on to a commanding 30-point lead. President Biden at Mother Emanuel Church in South Carolina, where 9 people were killed in a 2015 racially motivated mass shooting. Biden laying out the stakes, warning about MAGA Republicans led by Trump, and pointing to January 6th in his efforts to overturn the 2020 election results.
That's not the real world. That's not democracy. That's not America. In America, we all count. In America, we witness to serve all those who, in fact, participate. And losers are taught to concede when they lose. And he's a loser.
Biden's speech interrupted by a handful of protesters calling for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. Those chants drowned out by shouts of 4 more years.
I understand their passion. I've been quietly working with the Israeli government to get them to reduce and significantly get out of Gaza. I'm using all that I can to do that.
Back in Iowa, weather canceling campaign events for former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, who's vying for number 2 alongside Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Both must convince their voters they have what it takes to beat the former president.
Pro-Trumpers don't think I love him enough. Anti-Trumpers don't think I hate him enough. For those that want me to hit Trump more, I just am not going to do it.
DeSantis vowing to stay in the race despite comments from Trump that he might drop out to back Trump instead. DeSantis says he's in it for the long haul.
We have a packed schedule, and we'll be flying from Iowa to New Hampshire after caucus.
And on the Democratic side, 2 long-shot candidates, Marianne Williamson and Minnesota Representative Dean Phillips, will take the debate stage today without their main contender, President Biden. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Washington.
After the break, there are some changes coming to Social Security payments as we begin the new year. What retirees and people who plan on retiring this year need to know next.
You know, it's something you battle with your entire life. Managing finances is tricky, especially for people who are retired or at least plan to retire soon.
So many choices. Yvonne Rodriguez breaks down the changes to Social Security payments and Medicare this year and shares expert advice from AARP about how you can adjust your outlook.
U.S. inflation continued to decline in 2023, and the financial picture for Americans, including retirees, is improving. For that reason, monthly Social Security payments will only rise by 3.2% this year, based on the cost of living adjustment. AARP Senior Vice President Bill Sweeney says the boost is a bit disappointing in contrast to 2022's 8.7% increase, a 40-year high.
This is probably not enough for them to be able to feel comfortable and confident about their savings.
Another concern, standard premiums for Medicare Part B are back on the rise. The portion of Medicare that covers doctor visits and other outpatient treatment is up 6%. On the bright side, people who haven't retired yet can now sock more money away. People 50 and over can contribute up to $30,500 to a 401k or another type of deferred compensation plan this year.
That's a little bit extra money that you can put away in your retirement, which is a great way to save and get caught up before you retire.
Finally, 4 decades after Congress voted to slowly raise the full retirement age from 65 to 67, the goal close to being achieved, reaching 66 in 8 months in the final half of 2024. While you can begin collecting Social Security before age 67, your payments will be permanently reduced. On the other hand, waiting until 70 earns you a bonus.
We really urge people to think about what is the right age to start claiming Social Security to maximize how much money you can get.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
All right, back here at home, we want to give you a live look outside. Yeah, 58 degrees. It's funny, you look outside there, you're not thinking about sunglasses, but maybe it would be a good idea to wear them when the dust starts kicking around, because if you're wearing contacts or if you've got allergies, I mean, it's going to be a nuisance.
Yeah, that on top of mountain cedar, of course, as well. We still have mountain cedar in the air. It's very high today. Now, I want to show you the high-resolution satellite imagery. Here's San Antonio, bottom part of the screen right there. Look at San Angelo and all of West Texas, this West Texas dust. has been picked up by the very strong winds, and you can see it in this brownish color on the satellite imagery, and that is likely to be pushed our way overnight tonight and first thing tomorrow morning. So anticipate a little extra dust in the air. Saw some pictures from near Lubbock earlier today, and you can just see the layer of dust in the lower part of the sky. As for our winds, gusting at times up to 50 miles per hour through the night, and then even tomorrow we'll have some gusts around 40 miles per hour until we get to this time tomorrow. 24 hours from now, the wind subsides and it's calm out there. Right now we're at 59. By midnight, we're down to 46. We'll talk about how cold it'll get tomorrow morning, along with the big hail that hit Gonzales today, and a 3D radar view of that storm coming up.
All right, let's say if somebody out there maybe hasn't taken their Christmas lights down yet. How concerned should they be, Adam Caskey? I'm just saying somebody randomly.
Just somebody.
Not maybe me or anybody, just, maybe if somebody randomly out there.
I would never suspect you, Steve. No. It's going to be very windy, so anything that could be blown around, definitely secured, including the trash bins tonight and the tops of the trash, they can get flopped around. And even tomorrow morning, if your trash is picked up and then the empty bin is set down, it's likely to topple over, so plan for that. Now, I want to rewind a little bit to earlier today. We had a very strong thunderstorm in Gonzales County. This is just east of San Antonio. And take a look at the size of the hail that we had. I mean, yes, the calendar says January, but we still got a very strong, severe storm with 2 to 3 inch diameter hail seen and fallen in and around Gonzales. That is damaging hail. And we do have our authority radar, and I rewound it back to earlier this afternoon. Notice around 2 o'clock, that's when this storm really pulsed up. You'll see the purple area within this storm. The purple area, that's the hail core, the shaft of hail within the thunderstorm, and I'm really going to slow this down in our 3D view. We're used to seeing this in the spring and early summer, sometimes in the fall, but here in January, just east of town, there's that big shaft of hail that developed and then dropped just north of Gonzales and especially west of the city of Gonzales there in Gonzales County. Rainfall totals not all that impressive for most of us, but Bernie picked up half an inch, Gonzales over an inch, Moulton in northwestern Lavaca County 1.81 inches. That's part of where this storm pulsed up. Hallettsville about half an inch, officially at the airport 0.28, but Helotes 0.42. Better than nothing. 59 right now. Dry air in place. Dew point at 27 with the gusty winds. So we have that red flag warning in effect until 9 p.m. And that's because of the combination of very dry air and the gusty winds out of the west-northwest. If a fire would develop, it will spread quickly and rapidly. Notice the temperatures across the state. We go from 24 in Amarillo to 75 in Brownsville. That's changing quickly, though, for Brownsville. Even down in the valley, we're going to see that cold front move through with force, and the wind is coming in from Midland, so our temperatures will continue to fall off tonight. Midland right now is at 41. We're at 59 officially in town. Stinson on the south side at 63, Bulverde 58. Tomorrow morning, this is what you can expect. 35 Rio Medina, 33 Bulverde and Bernie and Comfort. Canyon Lake about 35. Near 40, upper 30s in and around San Antonio. But keep in mind, it's still going to be windy, and that means a feels-like temperature periodically dipping down into the lower 20s tomorrow morning. So chilly at the bus stop tomorrow. Windy to start the day. By this time tomorrow, the wind will be calm. So we just have to make it through the next 24 hours, and then we'll be fine from the wind. 52 at noon tomorrow and 58 for the high temperature. At least we'll have a lot of sunshine, so that sun beating down on you will make it feel a little bit warmer. Morning low temperatures will be up and down quite a bit. We've got two more cold fronts headed our way. A brief light freeze Wednesday morning. Then we get into Saturday morning, and next Monday, brief light freezes. But the strongest front is likely to hit early next week around this time, and that would give us our first hard freeze by next Tuesday morning. At that point, we're expecting widespread mid-20s. You look at the cold air up in Canada, temperatures in the 20s below zero, and this cold air is going to continue to push down into the lower 48 here periodically, and we'll get clipped by it. Our next cold front comes Thursday night. Then we have another one Sunday night, and winter has begun across the U.S. now. Notice our high temperature trend bouncing around quite a bit. The warmest we'll get is 72 on Thursday. You really just need to have everything ready to go the rest of this week. But right on its heels on Friday, we're down to 52. So with that next cold front, we'll warm up on Thursday, and then Friday be prepared for a chilly day. And this time next week, we're talking 45 degrees by this time next week. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, windy and cold.
Can I give a shout out to those viewers that sent in those hail pictures?
Oh, absolutely.
Showing the golf balls next to them, the tape measure, the dime. I mean, all that was great reference stuff. Because when you see just the picture, you don't.
It doesn't give a perspective. Yep. It's wonderful. So thank you all.
And obviously, thank you. We'll be right back. Tonight, a man's been arrested for a deadly hit and run that happened months ago. Jail records show that Fernando Castro Alvarez is now charged for a deadly crash that killed Rogelio Mata Rodriguez. That crash happening last October on Bandera Road. Police say that Alvarez allegedly hit and killed Mata as he was crossing the road. Alvarez is now charged with collision involving death.
The Bexar County Sheriff's deputies arresting a man for allegedly driving more than 100 miles an hour with a child in his back seat. According to BCSO, Leonard Santiago Estrada was caught racing another vehicle on I-10 over the weekend. A deputy says a 6-year-old child in the back seat not properly buckled. Estrada now charged with racing on a highway and child endangerment.
San Antonio firefighters dealt with one issue after another when they fought a fire at an empty home this morning on the east side. That fire happened at an empty home near Wyoming and Toledo streets. According to fire officials, when they got to the home, they tried to hook up their hoses to the fire hydrants, but they didn't work. SAW says that they're investigating the issue with the hydrants, and that is your 60-second recap. Thank you so much for staying up with us. We'll see you on the night feed.
See you at 10.